Dum dee dum doo doo dee da.
Now come and meet all the different modal verbs.
Hi everyone.
Our first modal verb is können. Können covers everything from can or be able to have the skill or knowledge for something, and can even mean to have permission. So this one shouldn't be hard to remember because it's so similar to the English language. But it won't always be this easy. Let's take a look at a few examples. Ich kann tanzen. I can dance. I can, I have the skill, the knowledge, and the right moves. Unfortunately, ich kann nicht tanzen. I can't dance. Kannst du mir die Modalverben erklären? Can you explain the modal verbs to me? This one can mean do you understand it and can explain it, but can also mean if you would like to explain it to me. Depends on the context, of course. I can and I will. You can use it to ask for help or direction. Können Sie mir helfen? Or können Sie mir bitte helfen? To make it more polite. Can you please help me? But also, kann ich deinen Stift nehmen? Can I take your pen? In this case, you are asking for permission, exactly like in the English language. Or simply, du kannst sehr gut Deutsch sprechen. If it's true, you can translate it yourself. Our second candidate is müssen, another easy one, meaning must or have to. Be careful when you have modal verbs so similar to the English ones, because the similarity can sometimes be misleading. So, this is a mean one. This is the verb that forces us to do things we often don't want to do. An example would be: Ich muss meine Hausaufgaben machen. I have to do my homework. Textbook example. I have to, and if I don't, there will be consequences. Müssen expresses a duty or necessity given to me by someone else or myself. Like, ich muss zur Arbeit. I have to go to work. Ich muss zum Zahnarzt. I have to go to the dentist. No, hopefully not both in one day. Or, ich muss den Kaffee ohne Milch trinken. There is no milk left, so I have to drink the coffee without milk. This is due to external circumstances. I don't actually have to. I could go to the store and get some milk, but I'm too lazy. I love my coffee like I love my modal verbs. Simple but effective. Du musst mir alles sagen. You have to tell me everything. Wir müssen darüber sprechen. We have to talk about it. Doesn't sound good. We can also use it with a negation, like in Es muss nicht immer Kaviar sein. It doesn't always have to be caviar. The title of a 1961 movie. As shown in the example above, nicht müssen translates into English as need not or doesn't have to rather than must not. And one of the special ones, exception. Ich muss mal. I must. As you can see, we are missing our other verb here. So it's informal language, but a very useful phrase. Shout this out during a long car ride, and the driver will surely stop. Why? Because the rest of the sentence would be go to the toilet. Our third verb is dürfen. Be permitted, allowed, to have the permission to do something. Well, this one doesn't have an exact relative in the English language. Ich darf keine Schokolade mehr essen. I am not allowed to eat any more chocolate. My mom told me, the doctor told me, or I told it to myself. You can use it to ask for permission. Darf ich gehen? Can I go now? Or Mama, darf ich morgen ins Kino gehen? Mom, am I allowed to or do I have the permission to go to the movies tomorrow? Of course, kid. And if you hear Was darf es sein at a restaurant, remember that the waiter is asking you what would you like. In spoken German, you can more or less always use können instead of dürfen. Often you will hear this verb in a negative form, nicht dürfen, which would be a prohibition, meaning not permitted, not allowed, even forbidden. Hier darf man nicht rauchen. It's not allowed and probably prohibited by law to smoke here. Or if you see, hier darf man nicht parken. Better not leave your car there because it's not allowed to park here. Our fourth modal verb is wollen. Here you have to be really careful with the meaning and please, please don't mix it up with the English will because they don't have anything in common considering their meaning. The German wollen would be translated simply as to want something. Ich will ein Eis, Bier, Mittagessen haben. I want to have an ice, a beer, or a lunch. Er will mir etwas sagen. He wants to tell me something. And again, some restaurant talk. Was wollen Sie trinken? What would you like to drink? Your answer? Ich will ein Bier trinken. Prost! Our next one is a little bit tricky. It's the verb mögen, or better to say möchten. So, what's the trick? They don't even sound the same. The actual verb is the verb mögen, to like something, and he himself is not a modal verb. But during the rich linguistic history of the German language, a special form of this verb, the conjunctive zwei, emerged and started to be used as a full verb of its own, and today is considered a modal verb. So, to sum up, mögen and möchten are two different forms of the same verb, whereas mögen is used as a so to say normal verb and möchten as a modal verb. Let's compare. Ich mag Eis. I like ice cream. A super normal, ordinary verb. Ich möchte ein Eis essen. I want to eat an ice cream. See the other verb, essen. Möchten is a fully grown and developed modal verb. So, what does möchten mean? To want something. Sounds familiar? Isn't it the same meaning as of the verb wollen? Yes, it is, but möchten sounds somewhat politer, and so instead of using the stronger wollen, you use möchten, but the meaning of the sentence is practically the same. Let's compare again. For example, ich will eine Schokolade. I want a chocolate. Compared to ich möchte eine Schokolade, which we could translate as I would like a chocolate. Sounds much more sophisticated, doesn't it? A few more examples. Ich möchte dich etwas fragen. I want to ask you something. Möchten Sie etwas trinken? Do you want to drink something? But you could also ask, wollen Sie etwas trinken? In this case, it's just a language nuance. And what's your answer? Prost! And our last verb is sollen, simply translated as should. Someone tells you what would be good, nice, or okay for you to do. Du sollst langsamer fahren. You should drive slower. It often comes in a form of an advice. Du sollst mehr Wasser trinken. You should drink more water. Du sollst nicht so viel Schokolade essen. You shouldn't eat so much chocolate. And so on. Quick, what's wrong with this sentence? Yeah, I skipped the other verb, essen. With sollen, it's always up to you whether you listen to the advice or not. But if your angry boss comes and tells you, das soll bis morgen fertig sein, it has to be done by tomorrow, it's not exactly that you have a lot of choice. You can easily replace it with muss. So these are our 6 proud heroes, our 6 modal verbs. Können, can or is able to. Müssen, to have to. Dürfen, to be allowed or permitted. Wollen, to want. Möchten, to want again. And sollen, should. Unfortunately, the German language, like any language, is a wild creature, like the Sasquatch. And probably equally hairy and bushy. So, not all examples and possible usages could be covered here. And there is a possibility that you stumble upon something that confuses you or you don't quite understand, like the Sasquatch. This is perfectly normal, so just take it easy, do a little research, and of course, take a lot of pictures. And before we say anything else about them, I want to be sure that you are 100% sure that you know when to use which one. So, our next step is a little quiz to check.